What's up, everybody, and welcome to today's live stream here on multiple platforms, but we're so excited that you're here with us. If you're watching this live or you're watching it later, what we hope to do is we hope to add value to you by having just a real and natural conversation about live events and virtual events in this new season that we're in. Obviously, with coronavirus, it has rocked the events industry, from hotels to travel to hospitality and all kinds of different things. But not only that, every organization on the face of the planet is now asking the question, how can I gather my people together, either my team or my clients or my vendors and partners, so inside the organization or outside the organization, from a 5K standpoint, from a convention or whatever that is. And there's a lot of different things. And so what we hope to do is share with you exactly what we're talking about, which is some live and virtual event secrets. Some of the things that we have in our heads that we've experienced behind the scenes or in front of the camera, and just have a great conversation. And I'm actually about to be joined by Taylor and Joseph Estes from Applebox Productions. Now, before I bring them on screen, I just want to say they are amazing. They are incredible. Can we actually go to the banner and put their website? I want to put their website up on a banner, Ricky, if we can. And then Ricky, what I would love to do is show them behind the scenes for us. Go ahead and hit the camera, Ricky, and turn your microphone on and say hi to everybody. This is Ricky, who's helping run the show. There we go. There's Ricky. Hey. Ricky, tell them what you're working on right there behind the scenes.
So yeah, I am running the actual platform of StreamYard and being able to switch things around, bring banners on, take banners off, and just being able to produce the whole thing right here.
I love it. I love it. So Ricky's going to be maybe chatting with you or putting your comments on screen. I'd love, since we're going to be talking about live and virtual events, go ahead and type in a question or a thought or a comment, maybe what a biggest struggle that you have right now with thinking about a live event, and then or ask us a question. And appleboxsolutions.com is their website. They're amazing people. Joseph and Taylor are two of the most personable and professional event producers on the face of the planet. And I highly recommend hiring them for any of your virtual event needs. And we hope that you would consider partnering with us with Applebox or whatever that is. But I'm going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and bring them on. I want to bring them on and see their amazing faces. What's up, you guys? How's it going?
Hey, Sean. Thanks for having us today.
Thanks for the super kind intro.
Yeah. Your check's in the mail for that, all those lies that you said about us.
Thank you. I'll be expecting that. I'll DM you my my address. So
yes, or your Venmo. I'll take it.
Okay, we can do Venmo. In that case, let's put my Venmo up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna put
perfect.
Awesome.
No, really, thanks for having us today. This is gonna be a fun conversation.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be casual. It's gonna be real, right? Because this is what we're both doing. So what's fun is usually when we bring people on, sometimes they're in their office studio or they're in their corner of their bedroom, which is like my office studio. But y'all's office studio looks amazing.
Well, all the time we're kind of consulting with clients on how to present virtually and make it look good. So we kind of have to practice what we preach a little bit.
There you go. So tell me, in light of that, let's go ahead and kick it off with some do's and don'ts, or some virtual event secrets, some live events. What's happening in your world? What are some best practices that you guys are learning in your own studio when working with clients? Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. So let's start with some do's. And this is something I've really, I tell my clients this for their in-person events, but it really applies to kind of pivoting to online right now, which is you have to get laser focused on your attendees. Okay. You need to make sure every moment that you are creating lends itself to a transformative experience for them. So what do I mean by that? How do you do that? Well, if you really focus on your attendees, why are they spending money or why are they tuning into your online event? It's because they want to be different somehow, So your team needs to know and be thinking about, what do your attendees want to achieve? And then help them close that gap between who they are today, what they want to achieve, and who they need to be in order to have that personal transformation. Content is king is what everyone says. Well, that really applies right now in the digital world.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. What about you, Joseph?
Yeah, I mean, we can get really tactical with this and get into kind of some of the nitty gritty about technology. And I think that that's probably what everyone's most afraid of.
How do we do this? What platform should we use?
Right.
Yes.
So the platforms are kind of the way we're thinking about what people used to be in a venue, right? So where you're hosting your event virtually is going to be it falls into that conversation about priorities again. So you got to basically line up what are the key things that you're trying to accomplish. If that's networking, that might be a different platform than, sales enablement, or, basically outlining your priorities is going to dictate the platform that you're operating inside of.
Yeah.
And that's a big hurdle that people have to get through, because there's a million of them out there. Just like when you're shopping for a venue, that list can be extremely long.
Yeah.
And prioritizing and laying out the criteria for your project is going to be kind of step one.
I put it to a client on the phone the other day, like, the online platform is just like picking a venue. So are we looking at venues on the Strip in Vegas, or are you wanting to be on the beach? Same thing applies to your platform, like he said, kind of outlining those priorities. But the number one thing that you have to think about, in my opinion, is making sure that the platform lends itself to an effortless user experience. I heard a great quote the other day that was, "Thinking is for humans as swimming is to cats. They can do it, but they'd prefer not to." And I thought that was perfect for online events. Isn't that great? I think it's perfect because it puts the point across that it needs to be an intuitive interface. It needs to take thinking out of the equation for the attendee. So another way you could put it is, make sure that you're picking an interface that your grandmother could navigate and work around, right? You could do this also by maybe sending some like step-by-step tutorials about the platform to your attendees or the people that have signed up for your event beforehand, or just make sure there's no extra clicks the day of. Just making sure you kind of brainstorm that entire user experience and making sure it's easy for the viewers.
That's great.
The digital audience journey,
exactly.
so to speak.
Yeah, it's and it's just like having a live event, right? Because if you have a live event, you don't want someone parking 2 miles away.
That's right.
Yes.
Get in an Uber and then get in a shuttle and then go down this thing, and then they're having to go directions. Like, you want it to be simple and easy. And whenever you're picking a live venue, you're thinking like, well, where did I park and where will my attendees park?
That's right.
Because you want to go like straight into the building, right?
That's right. And then next steps on that would be, okay, now that we've determined the best way to get from the parking lot to the ballroom, putting that together in a nice clean package so that they know exactly the steps to get where you need them to go. That's huge. And the same thing applies for your presenters as well. So when you're going through coaching and connectivity testing and making sure that your presenters can get logged into the platform, the more that you can brief them in advance, the better. And then once you've brief them again the day before the show, right?
Yes.
So it just reminding people constantly about, okay, this is step 1, step 2, step 3, and laying it out in a super linear fashion is going to be helpful for everyone. And then this probably dovetails into the don'ts, but go ahead and simulate things going wrong.
Yeah, things are going to go wrong. Murphy's Law applies like exponentially more to online events. Like, there's so much that can go wrong. So just break it as much as you can before the day of the event.
So
is what
when you're
we
testing that platform with them, maybe you simulate that their browser has had some kind of error and they're needing to reload and get back in. What do those steps look like? Because the more that you can prepare yourself for that moment of failure and you've rehearsed it, the less panicky you're going to be day of. And the more that you can, it's just like presenter coaching at a live event. Yeah. When you've got that presenter feeling comfortable before they walk on the stage, they deliver a completely different presentation than somebody who's nervous and anxious before they walk on stage. So
that's true.
And just like you said, it's the same, you have to make sure they know how to get from the parking lot to the ballroom at a live event. Well, you can also replicate that in a virtual format. I've told people to use maybe an expo part of the platform that they've chosen for their online event to have a help desk. Like at an in-person event, if someone's lost or doesn't know where to go, they find a shirt with, your name on it, or they'll go to the registration table and say, hey, where am I supposed to be? Or where's my breakout room? Well, create that hand-holding experience in the online world, so have a help desk as an expo booth. Yeah, just make it comfortable. Think about it as much as you can from the user attendee side.
Well, and one thing you didn't expressly say too is when you're planning this, not only do you need to practice this and coach them, But you talked about the hand holding, and it's the audience that needs to be handheld and the speakers need to be handheld too. And I know at live events, whenever they're produced, either by you guys or us or by other people, like you need to assign someone to be a speaker handler, right?
That's right.
So it's the same. It's a lot of these principles that are translating to just into the virtual space.
Yeah.
And really, it boils down to empathy. I mean, if you genuinely care about the people that you're interacting with on a day-to-day basis, you putting yourself, your mindset is, what am I going to? How can I put myself in their shoes, experience it from their perspective, and then curate a process that makes it super easy for them and super enjoyable for them. So, yeah.
But you're exactly right, Sean. Like, it just is slightly different in the online world, like where you might have a speaker handler at an in-person event or a mic wrangler that's making sure that the Q&A during the audience, they can be heard and everything. Well, that's like a link manager in the online world. Like right now, we're having one person dedicated to sending out links to log into a system like you're using today, StreamYard, for the live event, making sure everyone gets the right link at the right time and there's no confusion. So you just have to pivot slightly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great tip for everyone watching. So if you're watching, don't skip past that, because what she said is assign someone to be the link manager. So speaker handler, but the link manager. And that's actually really helpful because we're a shameless plug as we're planning our own virtual conference from our studio here 2 weeks from yesterday. Awesome. We can put that banner up on the screen there if you want to, Ricky. Yeah, that's great. So we actually had a question. Ricky, can you pull that a question on screen from someone from Facebook, it looks like? Yeah, go to the comments. What did Will say? Can you tell us?
Will?
Hey, Will.
What's up, Will? So you guys know Will?
No.
I don't, but
I do now because I see his wonderful Facebook photo. I feel like I know him.
I love it. So it says, can you tell us the video setup you're currently using? How do you recommend implementing the virtual help desk? So 2 separate questions there.
Yeah. Go ahead, video.
On our end, I'm assuming the question is direct.
On your end.
Okay, so
you guys answer, and then we can answer too.
Sure. So on our end, basically, I've got a Sony XD cam that I'm pulling the HDMI output into a camera encoder. It brings it in USB, but you can also use something like an SDI capture card in your computer if it has the video processing power to handle that. I think Elevate's using, yep, exactly. So that's a cam link right there.
Nice.
You could use that. There's a couple other products out there as well, but if you just Google HDMI to USB, it basically treats a high quality camera as a webcam. Mm-hmm. And then right up here, I'm not going to pull it down, but just literally just out of frame, there's a Rode shotgun mic that's coming into that Sony XD cam so that the sound is good. Mm-hmm. And then
I'll take question 2.
And then audio out of the computer is just coming back to a headphone splitter right here into our ears. So
so you isolate the sound so you don't have any of those weird echo feedback issues.
And then lighting is just a soft light, and then a little blue LED light splashed on a vinyl backdrop from B&H. So this whole setup is,
and find yourself a Joseph when you have no idea how to really do any of that. Just find yourself a Joseph that can set it all up for you.
YouTube. All the answers are on YouTube.
His second question was, how do you recommend implementing the virtual help desk? Mm-hmm. The platform that I was helping produce events on for those 2 that we just did recently was on Hopin. So that's an online event platform that's kind of new to the space. And it's great for things like face-to-face networking. You can enter a networking tab and live 2 people go up on screen. You guys can have a real conversation, things like that. And then there's an expo tab where your sponsors and whatnot can either man their booth live, or you can have like a YouTube video playing, and there's chats and call to action buttons all built out into the platform. But in that platform, I suggested that someone from their actual organization set up a help desk as an expo booth so that they were there on camera anytime someone jumped into the help booth, so they could ask questions in real time.
And that could literally be somebody on their laptop who's very savvy with the platform.
That's exactly what it was.
And they're just hanging out waiting for somebody to pop into that expo booth and say, how do I get to the breakout that I'm supposed to be at right now? And they go, okay, well,
let me help you with
that.
We
need to go. And maybe they share their screen and say, here's how you navigate to it, and hop them right in.
That's a great idea. what I love about that idea is having someone real time that's waiting to take it as if you're walking up to it. So it makes it feel personal, which is what you guys talked about.
Yeah.
And then the simple tip there that's really helpful for people is make sure to use the screen share function. Don't just try to tell them like, hey, on the right side of your screen, like actually pull it up and show them. Yep. That's great.
Yeah.
And,
another do I really want to point out, because it's a kudos to the way you guys do things at Elevate, is in the virtual world, so much of this is new to everyone. People haven't attended online events before. And there's something called cortisol, right? Which people probably aware of, but it's kind of your body's natural built-in alarm system. It's your stress hormone. And that's going to naturally be high for people whenever they're doing something for the first time. And you can drop that cortisol level for them by playing some playback music when they log on, like just like you guys did today. Like people knew
music.
Cue the music. No, it helps people know, okay, you know what, I'm in the right place. This is fun. This is going to be a good day. It makes them feel like they're at an in-person event where it's not just going to be like a cut and dry webinar that may be pre-recorded. It has that energy and makes them feel comfortable. So that's another big do. And I think you guys have great hosts, MCs. You're able to bring the energy, the music to any live event. I think you guys are great at that.
Yep. Immediately drop that stress level.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
Well, and how about from the producing side, from behind the side, what are maybe some do's and don'ts if someone is just investigating, like what should I be checking into? What types of questions should I be asking? That kind of thing from what you guys have learned in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. I'll go a little broad with my reply to that, but I would say like you should not try and just copy and paste your canceled event into an online format. It doesn't work. So what do I mean by that? Well, we all need to be empathetic to the virtual fatigue that's going on right now. Like everyone is constantly staring at their laptops on Zoom calls for even personal, like family interaction. So tactical tips for that would be shortening your sessions. If you were going to have a 3-day conference, you can't host a 3-day back-to-back conference online. It's not going to work. People are not going to tune in for 3 days straight. A great example of that is Google Cloud Next 2020. I think it's what it's called. It's their biggest Cloud Next conference. They do it annually. Well, they had to cancel it. It was going to be 3 days in April in California. And the way they're reimagining it is turning it into a 9-week series of a variety of sessions based on, different pieces of content. And they're going to drip that along 9 weeks and have live keynotes and bring it to them on, a live platform. But it's different. It's a different strategy. It's a different approach. They've reimagined it. And I think it's going to go really well for them.
Yeah. And we were just talking before we actually went live, we were talking about what are some projects each one of us are working on. And I mentioned that we had someone who's normally does a 1-day conference. Mm-hmm. And it's usually 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's for coaches of high school, middle school, and collegiate level in the Nashville area. And actually people have started traveling in from all over. And they decided to break it up rather than doing a 1-day conference. We work with them, and what they're doing is they are reimagining, which is a perfect word for it, into doing a speaker series. They're calling it they're keeping the name of it. It's the Coach Forum, but it's the virtual speaker series.
Love it.
This is actually, I put up on the screen for a reason. So you said the word reimagine. We've been talking with people about you can cancel. That's a real option. Canceling is a real option. Or you can postpone it, which if you postpone it, you might have to postpone it again. You don't know, like, when are we going to be able to do it? Or what you said is you can reimagine. Those are the 3 options that you have when facing what to do in this new season. Yep. So that's the perfect word for it, is reimagining it. And I agree with you. Like, screen fatigue is a real thing. People on Zoom calls, they're on Microsoft team meetings. Like, it's all different kinds of things. So it looks like
Katie.
Oh, there's Katie. Put that up on screen. What did she say? I love the Apple Box team. Yeah,
we love you, Katie.
All right, we also need your Venmo. We'll pay you for that. No, just kidding.
Katie's the sweetest.
I love it. You guys have such a great team.
Well, thank you. You guys do too. So, question for you. One of the questions we were talking about, like, hey, what do we talk about when we go live together? Was just in general, events and businesses. What types of virtual events are you guys seeing in the marketplace for people that are doing what we talked about, reimagining, and how are they leveraging those to continue to grow their business?
Go ahead.
All right. So I think that this is probably low level. Like, people are not bringing this up as much as maybe they should be. But
well, it says virtual event secrets, so there you go.
It's I think that the question that is probably in the back of everyone's mind is, what is the business case for doing a virtual event? We've had decades of success with using live events to
Drive
change inside of an organization from a cultural standpoint, to drive sales from an organization, through lead gen. We know what live events can do for a business. It's proven. But we had no use case for this, no real data set to describe how successful or unsuccessful virtual is going to be. And I think that the whole world is scrambling to figure that out right now, because every aspect of every business has been flipped upside down. I mean, you mentioned travel and tourism, you mentioned the hotel industry. I mean, there are industries who rely on travel and tourism and live events. And how are they going to pivot and respond to this moment? It's scary for a lot of them. And we, as industry, we all have to kind of rally around those industries and go, how can we support their core business and help them in this time when their core business is so in jeopardy?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, again, it comes back to that statement of empathy. We have to put ourselves in their mindset, in their shoes, and really try to work from that position first.
And I think his question's like, can virtual events help grow a business during this time of uncertainty, right? Like, can they be used as a catalyst for growth? And I think the answer is absolutely. And one of the largest hurdles standing in organizations' way when it comes to creating a transformative event experience, even in person, pre-COVID, is people don't want to challenge the status quo. Well, we've done the event this way year over year, so we're gonna keep it this way. It's what we're comfortable with. It's what's known. But right now, there's no internal resistance to change because the status quo doesn't exist. People haven't done virtual events before. So I'm just encouraging all of the clients and the potential clients that I'm talking to use this time to totally fall flat on your face, totally experiment, try things that you would have never considered trying pre-COVID. Just have fun with it. Use some surprise and delight moments. This is the time to churn out some things that you would not have in any way had taken the risk before COVID hit.
And here's the good news. The cost, the barrier to entry is very low relative to a live event. If you're going to compare producing virtual to producing live, you don't have travel charges.
Yep. You don't have venue costs. You don't have catering,
food and beverage.
Yeah.
You don't have any of those things. And so your expenditure goes way down. And then on the plus side, again, your ability to kind of democratize this for your audience goes way up, because cost of attendance has now gone way down. And so the umbrella of potential attendees is virtually limitless.
Right.
So
online events are scalable for attendee count. They're inclusive because maybe travel was an issue for someone attending the event, that's no longer an issue. They're obviously great from an environmental standpoint, right? Like I was posting about the other day, I think we've seen 17% reduction in global emissions right now because of coronavirus. Well, this is a chance for us as an events industry to try out some things so that we can implement strategies to be a more sustainable industry once we come out of this. So any organization that takes this time to experiment and equip themselves with some new skills and knowledge about how to put on virtual events, you can pivot that to hybrid events once the world opens back up again. So I just want to encourage everyone to really just try some things and have fun with it right now.
And the good news is that because everyone is attending these things, basically constantly, there's grace in this moment. People are seeing it done really well. They're seeing it done maybe not so great.
Yeah.
And they're going, okay, well, I understand that it's not going to be perfect and we're in the moment of time where it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, if you're used to doing something that's totally polished and you cling to that, you have an opportunity to kind of it's you might mess some stuff up, but move fast and break things, and then learn from that and do better next time. So
well, and that's important. That's important too, because at a live event, if a speaker stumbles over their words or if they have something wrong on the screen, like they usually joke about it. The good ones will joke about it, laugh about it, move on. And it makes you as an audience, if you're sitting there watching it, kind of take this sigh of relief and say, they're too. They're a person too. Like
we're all humans.
We're all humans.
And that's kind of the reason too why like Snapchat and Instagram stories and Instagram Live and these kinds of things are so popular now, because it allows people to see the real, right? Like the real life, not like the polished. I took 20 pictures. I picked my favorite one and then I ran it through a bunch of filters. No, like yesterday we did a stream from here, and Billy tried something he'd never done before. We set up one camera in our studio right here, and then we had another camera set up on the other side of the office with like this long cable running through. And what he did is I was running it, and I was so used to camera one being something and camera two kept being something. I kept accidentally hitting camera one, and I meant to hit camera two.
Yeah,
I had to laugh about it. I was like,
that's it.
Billy accidentally threw his remote on the ground, and I almost lost it.
And that stuff that's real. I mean, anything could happen. 3 minutes before we went live, the internet. Something weird happened with the internet. I mean,
internet issues.
Just
or our almost 3-year-old came in here in her like ballerina costume. You know, that's real life right now. That's gonna happen while we're all presenting from home. Roll with it, have fun with it, break things, have 100%. A good time, learn from it.
100%. Yeah, we were we got the opportunity to help produce LeaderCast a couple weeks ago, and Dr. Henry Cloud, who's a multiple best-selling author, in his talk. So they did pre-recorded talk, and he was in like I think his kitchen, and he was talking about because the theme was positive disruption. And as he's saying the words positive disruption, I kid you not, his dog barks and like drowns his voice out. And
I love it.
He laughs about it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
So if you're watching YouTube, Facebook, feel free to drop a comment. Actually, we'd love to do this. Drop a comment and share with us where you're watching this from. Where in the world are you watching this from? Is it Florida? Is it California? All that kind of thing. Drop a comment. We've got Natalie, who's actually my wife. So Taylor and Joseph are there. She says,
look at that cute baby.
Yeah, that is a cute baby.
That is a cute baby. That's our little girl who's almost 3 now. So that picture is way outdated.
July 12th?
Yeah.
July 12th, yep. And you guys have a birthday coming up on July 2nd.
That's right. It. How are you guys planning to celebrate? We're thinking some donuts. Donuts at home. Yay.
Donuts at home and virtually with the family, right?
We'll
do a virtual birthday.
That's it.
Sad reality of the moment, but we'll get through it.
Yep.
Well, you guys, this was awesome. I'd love to hear 2 things. I'd love to hear a final thought. What's a final, maybe a virtual or live event secret that you've learned? And then after that, I want you to share how can people hire you, engage you guys at Applebox, share more about what you guys have going on.
Oh, we have a big comment come in. I don't know if I have time to read that.
What's that? That's from Melissa. Had some extra time tuning in. Look forward to hearing some tips for virtual. As their social events are going virtual, Taylor and Joseph, any tips as their wedding planner whose couple is Zooming their ceremonies? Her small business is trying all kinds of new things, which she loves. Now's the time for innovation.
Yeah. Wow, that's hard. I mean, I know that people are having a lot of fun with like virtual dance parties and incorporating a DJ into their online like wedding experience. And my answer is my heart goes out to you. That's hard, because one of the biggest ways to celebrate a wedding and people coming together is people coming together. So I'm so sorry you're having to deal with that. And just like I said, for these, just try and have fun with it, experiment, and we're going to come out stronger from this with some new skills. So,
yeah, I mean, maybe tactically, an action thing that you could do is have people pre-record a video on their phone and send that to you and put together a fun video montage that you share out with everyone as part of the, ceremony opening or closing.
Yeah, that's great because we've seen videographers capture that at weddings, right? They'll go around, everyone's gathered together. So we're going to interview the groom. We're going to interview all of the family, all of the friends, and then put that together for after the wedding. Well, that's a great thing, is maybe capture all that before and then play it back to, that's a really fun idea. So,
Those are great. Those are great.
Yeah.
And from the experience side, a couple of ideas for that, Melissa, is really simple. I know that you can find, I wish I had this with me. I don't. I think I have it at home, but you can find these like little multicolor LED disco lights that plug into your phone and they run off of like your phone's battery. And so find small ways like that. And maybe you put together like a list of things that people could buy, like glow sticks, and it'll be delivered to Amazon. And then if they have a DJ and they're all on Zoom, you can still have like a really fun reception where everyone's in their living room. They turn the lights out, they black out the windows, and they turn on these like little disco lights. Small things that you can make
maybe a beverage. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Cocktail hour can still happen at home.
Oh, definitely.
A little bubbly.
I love it. Well, final thoughts, and then I would love for you guys to share, how can someone engage with you guys on either social media or how they can look to hire you?
Yeah. Have fun with it. Be okay with breaking stuff. Don't fly blind and try all of it the day of. That's not going to go well for you. And find us at appleboxsolutions.com. Cute. Nice. Nicely done, Ricky.
Ricky, put yourself on camera.
He nailed that cue.
And always applaud the man behind the scenes,
Yes,
because the man behind the scenes is working hard. Good job.
We do not like being the on-screen talent. We literally named our company Applebox because that's like a film term for boxes that are propping things up behind the scenes. And so we think we're doing a great job when you don't even know we're there. So thanks for pushing us out of our comfort zone today, Sean, and making us show up on camera.
Well, we love seeing you guys on camera today as well.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Joseph and Taylor, we'll see you. We're going to drop you guys off the feed. Ricky, we're going to drop them off the feed. We're going to hit cue on some music. Check them out, appleboxsolutions.com. Check them out on LinkedIn. They're pretty active there as well. And if you like this video, if you want to hear more about this, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook. You can find Applebox there as well, I believe. And then on those platforms, I think, Joseph and Taylor, is that right? Can you thumbs up? I can still see you. Nobody else can. Okay. Find them on YouTube. Find them on LinkedIn, Facebook, all the channels, MySpace, maybe, myspace.com. Is that a thing? /Applebox? Thumbs down, they said. Thumbs down. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Exciting news on June 4th and 5th, 2020. Elevate Experiences, we are hosting our very own Elevate Summit 2020. It's going to be an all virtual conference. We've got some amazing speakers. So if you want to see what it's like to put on a virtual conference, we are doing that from our studio, and we're broadcasting it all over the interwebs, of course. And then what we are doing is we're trying to have this refreshing conversation about the new world of work. So not only can you experience something, but you can also gain new knowledge from some industry experts about brand, about team culture, about communications, productivity, and all different things for this new world of work. And then if you want to learn more about virtual events, go to virtualeventsecrets.today. Virtualeventsecrets.today. We actually have a gift for you guys as well. There's the Ultimate Virtual Event Roadmap, which you can subscribe and drop your email, and we'll send it direct to your inbox. Don't worry, we will be gentle with your inbox as well. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you later. Sean Specie out.